Today we are rockhounding the Santa Monica Mountains.
Pretty cool. Here's what the terrain looks like on this very warm July day. These are the Santa Monica Mountains just outside of Los Angeles. You're supposed to be able to find some really amazing stuff here. However, there's not a lot written about it. Some of the MinDAT coordinates are wrong, so you're kind of just guessing and going off instinct here. But if your guesses are correct, then you can score some really exciting and rare material here.
Apparently you can find all kinds of cool stuff here. Sagenite, purple agate, limb casts, you name it.
But I am finding a little bit of agate, so I know I'm on the right path. I've got a little bit of intel. I've done as much research as I can. Let's see if this path leads us to anything worth it.
You don't really want to come out here during the hot months, like in the dead of July, like I'm doing. Then again, this is the time of year when the grass is all dead. There's not a lot of vegetation. You can really see the agates and gemstones shine through, makes it easy to find.
So we're suffering the heat for some hopefully amazing discoveries. All right, a lot of this agate is stuck in the dirt, so it makes it hard to find. You really just have to look for that clear edge. You see that? That is what you're looking for. If you see something like that sticking out of the ground, pick it up and then take it home, cut it open, because it might have something cool in it, like marcasite or sagenite, or at the very least, cool fortification patterns, and that is definitely worth it. Here I am heading up here, and I finally found something really interesting that I'm looking for. This is what we call host rock.
Okay, this is the clue that we've been looking for. This is the host rock. It's kind of orange and yellow, and it's got some interesting agate in it. So that's what we're going to be looking for on the outside.
The host rock is the rock that you're looking for is found in. So with this information, I hike to the top of the hill and I find this. The first real nice clear seam of agate. You see right there? This is our first big clue that we may actually have something here. Okay, so this is a seam of agate, and I'm going to smash it up because I want to find it where the agate runs deep, where it's thicker, where it's not just like crust deep or seam deep. All this stuff is kind of shallow, right? Just small veins of it until I find this chunk right here. Check that out. That's pretty nice. That's like gold, yellow, and white agate. And a good chunk of it, too. And my best find of the day might have been this thing right here. You can see that nice circular chunk of gold and white agate right on the side.
Now I'm all the way on the western edge of this mountain range. I'm finding a little bit of agate, a little bit of mineralization. Unfortunately, there's not a lot written about, where you can find this stuff. The coordinates that I can dig up online are very vague. You just kind of got to be an expert in the area. You got to be, you got to be in the know, which unfortunately I am not. So tomorrow we'll see what we can find on the eastern ridge.
Pretty cool.
Rockhound in the Santa Monica Mountains, day 2.
Yesterday was all right, but we're looking for the agate that you can't find anywhere else.
I got some new intel that said that I was probably a little bit too northwest, so I moved southeast in the mountains, and this intel checks out.
Check out what I'm finding here. White agate with golden marcasite crystals on the border. I don't know if you can see that right there. I'll show you a different piece. I'm going to zoom in on it. You can really see it almost looks like golden pyrite. Can you see that? Golden marcasite on white botryoidal agate.
This is really cool. What we're hoping to find is the marcasite inside of the white agate rather than like on the outside, kind of surrounding it, because then that agate's going to cover it over. It's going to protect the marcasite, and when we tumble it, it'll give it a really cool, almost like golden tree-like pattern. You can find a lot of this stuff up in Nipomo, but I've never found it before down here. I mean, who am I kidding? I've never even found it in Nipomo.
Nipomo marcasite has been an obsession of mine. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I've been looking for this stuff. And this comes very close to it. I'm really impressed with this material. I'm glad that I followed this new coordinates and stayed out there in those mountains for that second day. You never know what you're going to find if you just hike up one more hill, check out one more, defunct mine. And that's when I came upon my most interesting find of the day and probably of the year. Check this out. This is raw petroleum on white agate.
This is so cool. I have never found raw petroleum before.
And you can see it all. There's like veins of it. You see this black stuff right here? This is raw petroleum. That is a really interesting find. I'm going to keep that intact and put it on my collector display shelf. Aside from that, we're finding more of this white agate with golden marcasite on the borders. I'm hoping that some of it is going to be on the inside when I take it home and polish it up so it looks like those golden tree patterns. And my best find of the day on day 2 was this thing right here. Now, it doesn't look like much, but this is botryoidal agate. It's very clear, and what makes it interesting is because it's so thick, you know there's going to be something really cool inside. Hopefully sagenite, maybe even that golden marcasite. You know, I'm an optimist here. I hope against hope, and I'm just really hoping that I found something amazing inside that thing. Anyways, this was a really successful trip. The Santa Monica Mountains are weird because there's not a lot written about them. There's one spot that everybody goes to off of Kern Road, but I'm after that weird stuff, that stuff that nobody's seen, and for that, you gotta hike. It involves a lot of trial and error, and today, we got lucky. Santa Monica Mountains, pretty cool.